Hey everyone, welcome to the latest installment of MSP Business School. As always, I'm Brian Doyle, and with me today, once again, it's me as the constant and a bunch of these vagabonds
Yeah,
joining me.
yeah, right?
Today, no Timmy, yes Rob. It's like
Yeah.
one or the other. Are you guys fighting? You just don't like each other, want to be in the same room anymore?
No, he's got the vid. He's got the COVID.
Ah, man. So
Yeah.
we're all just coming back from IT Nation. And for those of you listeners who were down there, I think you'd agree with me. If you did not come away potentially with COVID coming back from that event, you are COVID immune.
Yes. You have the
Because
armor.
there were a lot of close quarters, there were a lot of people around there, and there were a lot of hands that were being shaken during that event.
Yeah.
But it was
Great
awesome.
time.
It was awesome to see it back in
Yeah.
full force, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
Seeing
100%.
4,000 plus people braving a potential hurricane, because I think we'd all agree it was a little bit of a
It fell flat.
thankfully a dud from a hurricane perspective,
Yeah.
but definitely great to see a lot of people out there. Great to see a lot of our friends, a lot of the guests that have been on this show. Always fun to get out and collaborate, but unfortunately, Timmy's a man down now today.
Yeah, he is a man down. Brian, every time I tried to go up and chat with you, man, you had like three deep of people that wanted to chat with you.
That is so not true, Rob.
It, come on, it was true.
The
Every time I
stud
saw you.
Rob was the stud of the show, man. He had speaking engagements. I was just there being a barfly, really.
Barfly, you were at the All-American Rejects and you were, crowd surfing up to the stage.
Well, somebody's got it. And I got to commend the crowd for doing that because I'm not exactly a small load to lift.
That was a really good show. I had
It
a
was
really good time. All of IT Nation delivered for me. It was great. It
Yeah,
was a good
it
time.
really was. And, great things happening there, people attending, and certainly a lot of great messages being shared in the
Yeah.
breakout sessions. And Rob, kudos to you. You did one of the breakout sessions and really a great session. How do you measure
Thank you.
that? Nobody left.
Nobody left.
Usually,
Yeah.
somewhere around midway, you get some people that said, "Oh, this isn't for me."
Yeah.
Everybody stayed. So,
It,
you
what
really
I
kept
like
them
about the
engaged.
presentations, if I'm doing a really good job, and I do these, if I see a bunch of people putting up their cameras and taking pictures of the screens, even though the presentation is going to be delivered to them, that's how I know I'm doing a good job. And it was nice to see that they found the information. I did a lot of research on that.
Well,
It was good.
I'll burst your bubble a little bit here. So, taking pictures while we're speaking of that, I took a picture while you were on stage and came home and showed it to my wife, Tracy. And her first question is, "What's up with his sneakers?"
My feet were hurting, man. After 2.5 days, I know. I
Ron
saw
had
that
these
picture.
bright royal blue New
Yes, yeah,
Balances up there on
yeah,
stage. It was
yeah. Sports
fantastic.
coat, yeah, everything, yeah. And then bright blues. My dogs were killing me, Brian. It was
Hey,
2.5 days.
dude, you're just living the West Coast vibe, I
I
mean,
know,
it's all
that's right.
good, right? I'm gonna call you Silicon Steve from here
I
on out.
know, right? It was, yeah, I know. I saw that picture too, and I was like, oof.
But
But
that's enough banter from us on IT Nation. Again, we want to say thank ConnectWise for putting on a great event. But
yeah.
really, what we want to start focusing in on is as we're recording this, we're heading into the Thanksgiving season. You guys will probably be listening to it the first week of December or
Hmm.
so, and it's the last push, right? 2022 is not over. For those of us that have been around the industry a long time, December is surprisingly busy, and then it's not, right?
Hmm.
So, I found oftentimes customers who had any excess budget, then it became the race, especially the nonprofits that we worked with. We got to get rid of this money or
Yeah.
we will not get it again in our budget and we're going to lose what we have now. So, what can we buy that fits this criteria? So, my tip number one, I guess, in terms of what you need to do for start planning, identify your customers that routinely have budgets that are use or lose,
Hmm.
and talk to them and see are they carrying a surplus, and if they don't spend that surplus, is that going to impact them next year in terms of what their next year budget's going to look like.
Hmm.
And if your customer's got a budget, start asking, of these initiatives, hopefully you've been road mapping, what initiatives from 23 should we bring into 22 if we've already exhausted everything in 22? It is, in my opinion, prime selling season for the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's on the account management side if you already have the client. On the prospecting side, this is a great time to go back to those proposals that kind of ghosted you or kind of went dark and kind of circle back. You can use a boomerang campaign or something to go back to those proposals that weren't really ready then, but now they know as it's coming up to the end of the year, now they need to make a new push to get their goals and their to the next year. This is a good time to do that boomerang campaign.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I think we tend to forget about that with customers that we lose sometimes, right? We lose them, we move
Mhm.
on, right? As a
Yes.
species, we've been taught, when one door closes, keep going, right?
Yep.
Don't go back to that door. But the truth is in sales, sometimes it's a game of timing, right? It just might have been not now. And sometimes when you do that circle back, you'll find out it's now. Or it's going to be coming soon, and I forgot about you guys. So, I agree with you. It's a
100%.
good time to circle back, look at everybody you lost, and say, hey, has the condition changed, right?
Hmm. Yeah. And even if they left you for somebody else, it's a good time to go back and say, hey, just want to make sure everything's going well. We worked with each other for a long time. For those churn clients, we worked with each other for a long time, and we just wanted to circle back and make sure everything was going well for you. And if it's not, we're here for you if you need us.
Yeah. Now, Rob, one of your topics you talked about at IT Nation was really the concept of sending lumpy mail, if you will, right? Direct mail in conjunction with your prospecting activities. And of
Hmm.
course, we talked about it a little bit in the non-traditional holiday fashion,
Sure.
but it also is the time to really get out there, and I'll take this from the account management perspective first.
Hmm.
It's really the time of year where you should look at some of your great customers, and if you have the opportunity, go out and bring them a gift in real life, real form, right? You can never have a better excuse to barnstorm somebody's office than, hey, I'm here
Yes.
to bring Rob a gift.
Yes.
I want to thank him for the year. And now that we're post-COVID environment, we should have no problem getting into those offices and be able to drop something as simple. I used to love going and getting books, and especially books around things that customers had told me they had an interest in that were outside of IT.
Hmm.
So, if somebody told me that they were really into woodworking, I would go to Barnes and Noble, pick up a simple woodworking book for 10, $20, keeping it short and sweet, wrap it up and bring it to that customer. And really, it was showcasing two things. One, I care about you, but two, I also listen to you, the person, not just you, the company, right? So
Yep.
it's an opportunity to kind of imprint yourself and find out if there's any money in them there hills before the year's over that you can shake out of them.
That's right. It's a great opportunity to do some cross-selling and upselling, during then as well. And I can tell you, Brian, the breaking through the white noise in this marketplace is tough right now. Uh, Doing something that's different than everybody else is going to have you remembered both with your clients and with the prospects. You going out there and delivering that thoughtful gift is going to be much more impactful than the next holiday card that they get. Right? Because they expect it's the expectation with these holiday cards now. And I'm not saying that as a negative thing, but everybody does it. But if
Yeah.
everybody doesn't, then you're not different. But if you're going out there and doing anything on a physical way where you're knocking on their door and going in, it sets you apart completely. And it's a really good thing both to prevent churn, improve your bottom line, and get those prospects that you were trying to get. It's a good wedge system.
And I'll even say, take it one step further. If you've got a really close client relationship and you're willing to invest a little bit more into it,
Hmm.
I used to do a lot of catered lunches too for my
Yes.
biggest customers. Basically say, hey, where do you guys want lunch from? I'm going to get it brought in. I'm just going to stop by and say hi. Not there for lunch. Want you guys just to enjoy and eat, but I want to thank you for your time there. And if you do that and cater the lunch, the nice part there is the owners can take a little bit of the credit on that too in sharing it with their employees and get a little goodwill in the process as well.
Yeah.
So that was one of my favorite end of the year tactics with my top, let's call it 5 or 6 clients.
Yeah. That's a really good thing, but I will put a caveat there. Um, don't do it to a doctor's office, right? Any of the health cares, they get pretty much lunch paid for them every single day by the pharmaceutical reps. So if you do it to a doctor's office, a dental office, a veterinarian, you have to preface it with, look, we're doing this as a special thing for, our clients. So they understand that this is something completely, different and unique for you and not just a way to, get to the doctor.
Yeah.
So just, be careful of that one right there.
Yeah, that's one of those few industries that has a sales team that have nothing but money to burn in order
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
keep those guys
And
engaged. Although I know they've put some rules around that these days
they
too
have,
to lock that
like
down.
some states won't even allow that anymore, but there's a
Yeah.
majority of states that do allow it. So you just have to keep that in your head to make sure.
All right. So second step, do something nice for your customer. Do something that your top tier customers that's informative, and it could be something as simple as, like I said, a book that you bring out that's $10 or $20,
Yeah.
right on up through doing a catered lunch that might cost you a couple hundred for a customer.
Yeah. We used to do breakfast, so we would go by and deliver it would be less expensive and it'd be a good way to start your day out. And we would send our information with them. So, if you can't do lunch, if lunch is too expensive and you want to try and get more bang for your buck, you can also do a breakfast, that you bring. And I'm not talking about full course breakfasts, right? I'm talking about some muffins and some donuts and some orange juice, that kind of thing. It works well. It works really well. It's different. It puts you in direct contact with people, and it's a good way to set yourself apart.
I myself would bring the omelet guy, man. Everybody loves an omelet guy.
Of course, everybody loves an omelet. Wow, so you would go there and like make the omelets there for him or something?
I've brought in catered people like that. I've done some creative stuff with some of our customers over the
That's pretty
years.
neat.
Like, I mean, one of the things I loved during COVID times that that I think translates even better now in real life was, remember those virtual happy hours where they would bring a mixologist that would show
Yes.
a drink or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, this is the time of year too. If you're gonna maybe have an open house at your place, we used to also do a lot of open houses around the
Oh, Brian,
holidays,
brilliant.
where we would have tell people, come on down, get, again, we had data centers as part of our life, so it was, come on down, get a tour of the data center,
Yeah.
enjoy some cake, and then we would bring in a craft mixologist, or some sort of specialty chef to make one dish, one special dish. Maybe it was a sushi guy, maybe it was
Mm.
something like that, just something that kind of brought a little pizzazz to it as well. And then once we knew the amount of people that were coming, a lot of times we'd provide a parting gift too. Again, a lot of times it was just a book that we'd be able to give them on the way out the door. In this case, we would usually tie it to tech and make it so it was uniform across everybody, but
Mm.
just have something that when they were leaving they could take away, and usually it was coupled with a t-shirt or something else.
No, that's brilliant, man. I like that a lot. That's good.
So, so we kind of diverted into the fun things we can do, but from a
Mm.
selling perspective, I don't want to lose sight of it. It's definitely get out to your former prospects, see where those
Yeah.
deals that fell short land, get out to your account managed clients and really focus in on if they have budget left and getting in touch with them. Anything else you think we should be doing from a proactive piece, to close out selling season from your side, Rob?
Closing out the year.
Yeah, so I kind of liken it to this. I notice that every December, it is usually busy as can be, right up to about the 18th, 20th, wherever that final Friday kind of falls in before Christmas week
Mhm.
or holiday week sets in,
Mhm.
right? And I used to see that orders would still come in, customers were somewhat engaged, but then it just stops,
Yep.
right? And we'll get
100%.
into in a couple of minutes some things I think you should be doing to plan for 2023 once it stops. But anything else you think we should be doing before people's attention turns from getting the rest of the final tasks of the year done to, I'm on vacation, peace?
Yeah. So on our side, we no longer focus on MRR in the final month. We only focus on that capital budget that is, that you can chase after the projects for. December is a huge project month. And that's where everything's in. It's a quick hitter. And like you said earlier, they have a little bit of budget left over. So the conversation completely stops and we don't even engage on the MRR side. We only engage on the project side. What are the projects that were pushed off that we can, look towards right now? So we just change our messaging for the final year, and make it like an after Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
What do we need to do to kind of do that? That's how we do it.
That's a great point, Rob, because I really didn't think about that. But as you were saying that, I'm kind of replaying the last few Decembers I had in my head,
Mhm.
and you're spot on. We didn't sell a lot of IT support contracts at that point. It really was us selling more of, hey, got a project to do. We want to, we've got this capital budget that we got to spend. Let's buy some hardware or
Yep.
things like that. So, I think that's a great point. If you really kind of put MSP on the back burner that month. Obviously, any deals that were naturally going to come in probably will float in anyway. But
Yeah.
put the focus on the short-term dollars that you can
So
get right away.
yeah, I mean, like, so in your conversations your reps are having out there, they're usually starting in a priority system. They're talking about MSP, they're talking about MRR. What are you guys doing for MRR? Then they move down to projects, right? Then they move down to blocks or whatever else you're going to try and do as an ancillary. And now during December or after Thanksgiving, you put projects up on top of that, hierarchy priority system, and that's how we did it. We
Beautiful.
do it.
So now let's shift gears a little bit. Selling season's over.
Hmm.
People are starting to mentally check out. We're heading into vacation time. And I'm a
Sure.
relative newbie. I don't have any vacation time for Christmas
Right.
or for the holiday season,
Hmm.
or, I'm not heading out. What are some steps that we could be taking? And, I'll give you my 2 cents. This is the perfect time to do the things that we never do during the year because we're running too fast. And
Ooh,
that's
okay.
do some account strategy and planning. So this is definitely an account management tactic, but this is where you want to go in and stack rank your customers so you can really reset the clock and go, who are the customers we're going to focus on next year? I know who my good customers are. I know who my noisy ones are. But of those that are sitting in the middle, which ones are the ones that I want to start looking at elevating next year? Now, within BCIO Toolbox, we have some account management planning tools to really organize around that, and some
Hmm.
tools that we didn't create. They're just standard industry tools you can utilize out there. Are SWOT analyses in the business canvas, and I know you're a big fan of the business canvas too.
And SWAT. You
But
have to have that done.
sit down, man. Do a SWOT on your account. What's our strengths within that account? Where are our weaknesses in the account? Have we not got them to our stack yet? As an example, what are the threats to us in the account? Maybe we know on January 1st a new CFO is coming in. That could be a threat to us, right?
Hmm.
And where are the areas of opportunity? And if you're not doing QBRs, that may be a mystery you got to dig into. If you're doing QBRs, it's really what's coming up next in your roadmap. How do we get that accelerated and going? When it comes to the business canvas, it's a great time to sit down and better understand your customer, map out that value prop, really map out how they go to market and understand how they support it. You're going to be amazed at things that come out of that exercise. My security teams lately have been telling me when they do the business canvas, one of the things they're identifying is vendor partnerships that they didn't know the customer had. Vendors who are handling sensitive information, but nobody knows if there's been a risk assessment done on them. Nobody knows if that group is undergoing any security awareness training on their side internally, or it has been socially engineered tested. And as a result of that, we're just handing our data off into the abyss. And sometimes it doesn't come out in a standard assessment. So these are things that I like to have a team do, at the end of the year. So they're getting that information to really kind of go, okay, I think I know this customer, but what don't I know? And building out that part of the process.
Yeah, ABC tiering your client, top grading your clients and understanding, where your value is going to come from with your client deck is super important. And we agree, we do it always at the end of the year, prepping for the new year. The other thing that we do at the end of the year is any new products that you found at IT Nation, found at, like any of the shows that you did, you gather all that information, but you don't start analyzing, researching, and, doing your business canvas until the end of the year. So what we always tell our clients is, look, if somebody's calling you during the year and saying, hey, this is a great opportunity for you to expand your revenue, that sounds great. Talk to me at the end of the year. Right. And then we'll research all those projects. It's a great time to research projects and understanding what you want to do on the next year for value adds.
And you just hit on something else there, Rob. Everybody just came back that went to a lot of these conferences over the last couple of months, have seen all the
Hmm.
shiny new toys.
Hmm.
And really, this is a good time to get those demos in to do those things that you need
Yeah.
to for the next year. Much to the chagrin of my family, the last week of December tends to be a very busy demo week. I used
I
to
can
take
see
it
that.
off, and I realized after our first year of operation that no, people want to come see things that week. It's golden for getting the process started. So, you're spot on as business owners. All those tools that you're looking at, remember they still have people working that week too, and your mind is a little calmer at that point. Also, things aren't coming at you quite as quick, so
Right.
it really serves as a good time to start doing some of that analysis.
And deciding which product you want to like vet and do a full business canvas on, and understanding what you're going to do for next year and whether this is going to be a fit for you in the next year or not. It's a great time to do it. The other thing, so like that's on the owner side, but on the rep side, making calls during those 2 weeks, like from the 18th on, or December, is very good for the reps. You get a lot of hangups, but when you do get to that decision maker, they give you more time because they don't have as many things coming at them. Right. So, more people are on vacation. A lot of their clients are on vacation. So it's a really good time to speak to those high level decision makers that you just can never get a hold of. So that's the other thing that we kind of change around in our company. We just make all of our reps go in a top down prospecting approach instead of a, mid tier up. So those are the things that we like to do, in the final parts of the year when we know a lot of people are on vacation, and we can, try and get these deeper conversations with CEOs or anybody that is trying to, bring it through. Brian, this was a lot. This was a lot of information. We kind of data dumped a lot of stuff here for the end of the year,
You know,
both
when
proactive and reactive.
when you and I get the stage without Timmy, let's face it, we move quick and we move fast in our conversation, right?
Yeah, and we just boom, 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 boom. Two ADHD guys in the room. What happens?
Exactly.
This.
But with that said, I think Rob, our time has come to an end. So why don't you take
It
us home?
it has, Brian. And all this information will be up on mspbusinessschool.com, to include YouTube. So please go over to YouTube, give us a like, subscribe. And, if you do have any questions out there for topics or anything that you would like us to discuss, anywhere in the sales cycle or the marketing cycle, on account management or sales executive, please reach out, let us know. We would love to, answer your questions live on air here. And with that, Brian, have a fantastic day. And I hope that little skull in the background on your lamp there. I love the little skull with the mohawk, man.
That's it, man. We got to keep it real around here.
Yeah, apparently.
Have...
All right, sir. You
All
have a
right,
great
everybody
day.
have a great one.
All right.